And so I think we may have discussed this just very briefly in the past, but as far as using the electronic machines, I mean, they're saying it makes it faster, more accurate, I'm sure. Do we know, is there any financial pressure influence that comes into this for the county commissioners? And how much longer would it take to count versus paper counting? I mean, is paper counting a realistic option? Obviously it is, but if you can expand on that.
Sure. Within our current election law, paper counting is already acceptable, to my understanding. So when we look at price, Rick Weibel has done an analysis that suggests it's half as expensive. So $14 per ballot with machines, $7 per ballot by hand.
Okay.
When I sat in a meeting with election officials and county commissioners, a pair of county commissioners in Morrison County with Jeremy Pecula up there, who's now actually running for county commissioner as well. When we shared some information with them, that was one of the concerns was, well, we're tied up in this contract. So it would be a sunk cost for us to move away from it. And then as a second objection, it was, do you realize how much manual work it will be to hand count? Because the reality is that you and I as election judges would take a stack of ballots,
Yeah.
and we would both agree that the Republican candidate on the first race in the ballot got the vote.
Yeah.
And we would check that off as a tally on our hand count. And then we'd turn the page and go to the next ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd do that. And then when we finish that stack of ballots, we'd go back to the top and do the second race and then tally that. So it is a process, but that is already statutorily acceptable. That process is already established. We know how to do it.
And is that be done at the precinct level?
Correct.
And I mean, each precinct doesn't have an astronomical amount of ballots, I don't think. I mean, maybe in the metro, but aren't the precincts broken up by population? So is any precinct that much bigger than another precinct?
And I believe the county commissioners have the ability to establish the number or the sizes of those precincts. So if we think about a future vision for what elections could look like in the near term, if we're able to remove machines, then small manageable precincts, hand counting those paper ballots, using paper poll books.
Yeah.
And you can even add a few things for extra auditability. You could get a commercial off-the-shelf camera and take a photo of the front and the back of that ballot, and that ballot could be uploaded to the county website immediately. So you, Mark, can look using a QR code or a barcode
To verify your own vote.
You can say, oh look, I wrote in a candidate there, that looks like my handwriting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are simple approaches that can be used, and what I just described to you, there's even new counterfeit-proof paper ballot technology that can be used for additional security. But this process is already being put in place in a few counties, to my understanding. Already in Nye County, Nevada, in March, the county commissioners passed a resolution saying we're not using electronic voting equipment.
It seems to me that that's just the way to go.